Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today's January 31st, and we're doing, is this all business? Or do we have
Business and social.
Business and social. We had a lot of business stories, a lot of collapse.
Unfortunately, this week did merit another collapse section because, oh boy, does it keep happening, and especially in the tech sector.
Microsoft lays off 1,900 staff from its video game workforce. I thought all the layoffs were at the end of the year, and then people would hire in the beginning. Is that not the
case?
This is the Activision Blizzard thing. The ink's not even dry in the merger, and these people got to go.
Was this the one with the quote from the CEO, which was booty?
Yeah.
I laughed really hard at that because I'm a child.
And comes as, I think they briefly hit like $1 trillion market cap.
Yeah.
Some of the highest valuations they've ever had. But we got to get rid of all the people. And this is a weird way that they camel-cased eBay, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was auto-capitalized.
Yeah.
They should not have.
eBay to eliminate about 1,000 jobs or 9% of its full-time workforce.
This one, hilariously, comes on the end of what they pay $31 million for sending pig's head and roaches.
Yeah.
So how many jobs could that have saved, that money?
It's weird, though, because in economic times like this, eBay usually picks up as people look to unload and sell stuff that they, I need some extra money.
Well, they can do it with AI probably. Let's let the AI do all the copywriting and stuff. And Google has their little moonshot lab where they work on the really impressive stuff that maybe it won't succeed, but if it does, it'll be great. And we got all the money in the world to do that with, right? Well, not anymore.
Google lays off dozens from X Labs and wants to have the projects seek outside funding. So we're talking venture capitalists and Silicon Valley billionaires. It's like, you want to be part of the Google Glass 3.0? Give us money.
Google basically said, we want you to keep working. Don't think about not working and giving us your inventions. We're going to need you to find your own money.
Yeah, that's just baffling to me. We still want to be able to put Google on your inventions when you do make a breakthrough.
And own them.
That is kind of funny. There was a little bit of a segue, but I know a company that did that with their internal tech people. They were like, okay, here the internal tech team, which is like a dozen people, it's like, you are a cost center inside the company. We want you to help us understand how you generate money. And so they went through features that they added to the software stack that contributed millions to the bottom line, and they were 100x in terms of value versus what they cost. And it was like, okay, you should stop that now.
Well, this team was not able to prove that. In fact, some scientific research was done, and it proved that they failed spectacularly at their jobs.
Google cuts thousands of workers, improving search after search results are scientifically shown to suck.
I don't know if this is the case, but you kind of have to feel a little bit bad for some of those workers who maybe knew how to improve it, but were not given the authority to do so.
I guarantee you at least one of these people was like, maybe because you're letting the ad side of the company run the search side. Could that be the problem, Google?
Also, we seem to be ineffective at stopping the spam AI content, and that's really dragging down the good content. No?
Maybe us creating this whole PageRank thing sowed the seeds of people just faking all the websites?
In a couple of years, we're going to get a big leaked document that's listing all of these things, and then it's going to be well, now we have a news story.
I really wanted to include the hacker news story, the leak from inside Microsoft, where it was here's the Windows interface design team. They all use Macs. And it's well, of course, the people designing the UI in Windows don't actually use Windows. No wonder it's so dysfunctional.
And this one, comparatively small, but still part of the collapse section.
TikTok is laying off dozens of workers as the tech industry continues to shed jobs in the new year. Some of these have hints of AI taking over a lot of the work.
And as we get even smaller, actually, I guess this is more than dozens technically.
Yeah, this is still a lot.
Riot Games cuts 530 jobs and shuts down publishing arm Riot Forge.
Be funny if they were to get really angry about being fired and riot. And this is tangentially related, but it is related to technology.
SAP is restructuring 8,000 jobs as it shifts its focus to AI.
Restructuring doing a lot of heavy lifting in that headline.
SAP does enterprise resource planning, if you're not familiar with them. Historically, they are an insanely profitable company because once you're using SAP, what are you going to do? Not use SAP?
Moving on to hardware, we have some exciting news if you want to watch YouTube videos and make them even more attractive.
Nvidia's RTX GPUs can now upgrade SDR content to HDR using AI. So I guess this is a driver update. AMD published a similar driver update in their Adrenalin 24.1.1, but this is the new hotness. If you are just looking at content in a web browser, the video driver can say, that looks like video content. I'll just go ahead and upscale that.
Maybe you're looking at it in a web browser on your brand new Apple headset.
No, they won't let you do that.
Which will make you one of a relatively small number of people, it seems.
180,000 Vision Pro headsets were pre-ordered over the weekend.
That is not a good number.
It's I mean,
better than I expected, to be honest.
With Apple, look at Apple products that have failed catastrophically, like the Newton. Even if this product fails catastrophically, it's not going to be like a Google Glass where everybody can't wait to send their Google Glass through the chipper shredder. It's going to be like, oh, we're going to hang on to this as like an icon of like this Apple crazy product.
We're going to put it in a shadow box and hang it on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because cult of Apple.
I think they're going to pawn it to pay their rent or their health insurance.
If you go to some of the local pawn shops, you do see some of those VR setups
Pretty common,
pop up pretty often.
The best time to get Apple hardware for less than half off is about 3 weeks into the college semester.
Well, that's one product that you may actually be able to get. It is pre-order. I don't know if anybody's got them yet, but you can get it if you want it. If you want to pay that insane amount of money, you want to be the early adopter. This one you cannot get, which is weird because it was promised so long ago.
The Apple Car apparently still exists, and it could debut in 2028, but with reduced autonomy.
I remember when we first got that leak that Apple was working on a car. I feel like that was a long time ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So they were going for stage 5 autonomy, which is full, total autonomy. Instead, they're going to settle on 2+. What is 2+, you ask? It's nothing. It's like when AT&T, it's like just put the plus on everything. It means nothing. 2 is the same as Tesla.
The vision was Siri would swaddle you and you could take a nap while you got to your destination, but that is not going to happen.
Whisper advertisements into your ears. And Hewlett-Packard continues to be sued and badmouthed and laughed at for their horrible, horrible customer service and their printer cartridges, but they have an excuse.
The Ars Technica headline, which I'm not going to bother with because it's so bad, is that the HP CEO said the reason that they have to do the awful things with the ink is because you could deliver malware via third-party ink cartridges, and genuine HP ink cartridges are not going to contain malware. That is a lie.
They also paid some hackers to come up with some sort of way that they could say that they could prove that that's the reality.
You know how that could be reality is if you make the ink cartridges smart enough to contain malware in the first place, but you know what they don't have to have in order to function properly? That.
You could probably do it without any electronics at all if you really wanted to.
Just the nozzles.
And I've kind of broke my rule here. I added a pie in the sky new technology, but this one's exciting.
Revolutionary Lego-like photonic chip paves the way for semiconductor breakthroughs. This is just, there's a lot of words here, but there's really not a lot new. We've got this really amazing packaging technology. If you look at like AMD with 3D V-Cache, TSMC is stacking cache on top of a CPU. Intel's doing their tiles thing. We're getting really advanced with how we package silicon. And so the photonics thing here is we can just make the photonics in a wafer and package that with other processes. So if you want to stack a photonics interface on top of your AMD CPU, we totally could do that.
And if you want to go even further into the pie in the sky, this technology, they're claiming this is like a couple of bucks. This would be revolutionary for sure.
Researchers claim the first functioning graphene-based chip. Semiconductor bests silicon alternatives for electron mobility. Yeah, silicon, the electrons flow more freely through graphene. And also, this is something we reported on in 2021. This is a sodium-ion battery. You can actually buy these. They're making these in commercial quantity. This is what's in the car. These are 18650 cells. These are only about half the capacity of a good lithium-ion cell, or about 2/3 the capacity of a tofu dregs lithium-ion cell. But there's no lithium here. It's sodium. So this is a lot more environmentally friendly.
It tastes way better.
They also don't recharge as many times, and they're lower voltage, and they're less amperage. But it's a start.
Graphene, way lower resistance. That's why you want it. And they claim that chips made with that could get into the terahertz of speeds. Imagine that. But for now, we are still stuck with the old traditional methods.
Tetrahertz or terahertz?
Was it terahertz?
Beyond gigahertz.
Yeah.
Beyond,
the next zero.
Beyond a billion gigahertz. Yeah, that'd be terahertz.
TSMC is still the number one with the old traditional methods, and they keep just whittling down the size.
TSMC prepares for 1 nanometer production as price hikes drive most semiconductor industry growth. The numbers are out is pretty cool. Like they snuck this in with the headline, but TSMC, like the economy's crappy and stuff's not shipping and blah blah blah. But TSMC's profit margins are over the moon, and the amount of money that they get per wafer over the moon. And so even though the volume is down, 1 nanometer is also going to be a lot more expensive to produce, but that's not going to matter because the line go up in a line from here to there. So it's not going to be like an insane jump, but it's going to be a jump.
You know who probably won't get any of those chips is Huawei.
It's Huawei or the highway.
Even though they did manage to put out that other phone, we found out that they probably stockpiled or maybe got those chips in a nefarious manner. But this time around, they claim that they're going to do it their own way, and they're even going to depart from the powerful Google.
Huawei makes a break from Android with the next version of Harmony OS. Is that pronounced Kaishin? Kaishin? I don't know.
Maybe.
No.
I guess that's the news organization that broke it. Anyway, no longer can you actually have Android apps on this operating system. In the past, it would still allow Android apps because obviously it didn't have any of its own apps, but now they think it's, I guess, mature enough. They're kicking out the Android apps. And space phones. This seems like rapidly we're moving toward them.
AT&T and Google, part of a $155 million investment in AST SpaceMobile. So text messages from the army of low Earth orbit satellites is going to be the first experiment. And AST SpaceMobile is going to be part of it.
This technology is so exciting.
Hilarious.
When it comes to fitness, I think this would be revolutionary.
Yeah.
Imagine playing DayZ, but you really had to walk everywhere.
Running simulator.
Talk about getting your steps in.
Disney offers an elegant solution to VR's movement problem.
My favorite part of this was the video where the guy was like, you can't get off of it. And I was imagining a scenario where like you're just becoming emaciated because you're trapped on the
somebody, they break your door down and there's just a skeleton lying on there.
But it's still on that mat, damn it.
So yeah, I think it just constantly zeroes you back to the middle, right? No matter
Yeah.
what you do. Now he's moving pretty slow.
Yeah, like you can tell in all the videos that they're kind of a little bit stilted when you walk on it, but
They also had a demo where they used the floor to roll something stationary toward the guy. So, you know, like if you are moving at double the speed you think you are when the thing is coming to you and you're moving toward the thing. Like the floor compensates for that.
This will probably take a long time to be in your home.
Yeah.
But there might be like a fun little business like laser tag that's
Yeah.
built on this kind of thing. It'd be great for the pod.
Yeah.
something to keep yourself occupied.
Yeah.
You have a place to lay down and a place to play on your little mat.
Well, you're not going to be able to leave the pod to walk around, so you got to have something to keep your mobility. Well, maybe you don't need it. And T-Mobile, T-Mobile. Really, in 2024, do we need this?
T-Mobile Home Internet adds a data throttling rule for new customers. Basically, when you hit the 1.2 terabyte cap, you're going to be relegated to what's basically 3G speeds. It was actually hard to figure that out. That's what happens with T-Mobile when you hit the throttle point. I don't know if this throttle point is higher, but in the past, when you hit the throttle point, you get 3G speeds, which are good enough for email, not good enough for Netflix.
They recommend if you don't like that, pay more money.
1.2 terabytes. They said 10% of their customers are already hitting that, which, you know, most of that 10% is probably just early adopters.
That seems low.
Yeah.
I mean, Windows Update.
Netflix, like if you do a lot of Netflix 4K streaming, 1 terabyte is not hard to hit at all.
Well, maybe you'll be using that data plan in your new Cybertruck. I bet the telemetry would eat that up really quick, wouldn't it? But actually, they have their own modems. What am I thinking? It does have some limitations if you read the fine print in terms of care and maintenance.
The headline is, you'll have to wipe dead bugs and bird poop off your Cybertruck ASAP to avoid corrosion.
Same.
They've learned nothing since the DeLorean. Nothing.
So this is directly from the owner's manual, and they are basically saying, yes, daily. You must daily clean this car or it will corrode.
What about
I'm tired just thinking about that.
was that in the DeLorean manual? Like, what? Everybody in the DeLorean, they're like, oh, you can just buff it out. And it's like,
It doesn't even look good. And this is just a little more to flesh out the Apple ideas and what the horrible things they're doing. We kind of covered this in the government section, but this is a big software story.
iPhone app sideloading. Apple reportedly plans to charge fees and review apps downloaded outside of the App Store. This is a little bit more of a breakdown into the Lovecraftian horror that is what Apple has planned for the EU. They're making everything dramatically more complicated in the name of protecting users. And there probably is something to that. Like, oh, let's protect users from stuff. But Apple seems so completely ineffective at dealing with state-sponsored malware. Despite being a $1 trillion company, you'll have to forgive me if their faith in themselves, I think, is misplaced.
And as we always like to just, I'm going to keep beating this dead horse. When a merger is under scrutiny, they always tell us it's not going to affect jobs.
Never. That would never happen.
It's not going to change anything. It's not going to affect the customer. It's going to be good for the customer. We would never use this merger to put the customer over a barrel. It's just not something we do. And let's harken back to Microsoft Activision cutting jobs.
Immediately.
Right after the merger. And here is another one with VMware making some people angry.
Broadcom's VMware overhaul draws the attention of CIOs. Well, that's because they're getting their renewal letters with the beginning of the year 3.5 times. 3.5 times. The customers that I know personally have been screwed so royally and so, oh my gosh, it's bad. It is really bad.
I think you might be mistaken because we were assured that would not happen.
It's so bad.
There's no reality where they would mistreat us this way.
Like, this personally affects me, and it is trash. It is absolute trash.
Now, you mentioned Netflix earlier and how over time the deal is altered further. And it's altered further and further away from benefiting the consumer. And that might, maybe, explain some of this.
Streaming pirates are Hollywood's new villains. Ever since taking on Netflix, old Hollywood has struggled to turn a profit for streaming.
So this is not downloading the files for yourself. This is other streamers who steal the content and restream it back to you for a lower cost. It's picking up in popularity.
I would never use those.
I wouldn't either because I'd rather just have it.
Have it forever. It's like, I'm still buying DVD media, not because I want a DVD collection, but just because it's like, here is my physical token that represents a license that I believe that I have. And then now I have format shifted it onto the thing that I actually want. And now I don't have to think about it anymore from now until the end of time.
I do that for like shows and movies and stuff that I really, really like. But sometimes you just want to try something out and you don't want to spend, $20 a month or whatever they are now.
Yeah,
just to watch it.
I've literally done that. I've bought 1 or 2 episodes in the kind of a disposable way. And it's like, okay, this is worth having the bot look for the DVDs going on sale. Because eventually they're just like, we're going to get rid of this and it's half off or more.
Except they're not going to be making DVD sets.
That's going to make me very sad because then I'm going to have to go back to.
Well,
I'm trying to give you money, Danny DeVito. I'm trying. They're making it hard.
When it comes to format shifting, perhaps this is a kind of format shifting where you take someone else's creative work and shift it into your own product.
Palworld embroiled in AI and Pokemon plagiarism controversy. So I'll just get this out here. I don't think that Palworld, for what they've done, rises to the level of plagiarism. It runs right up to the line and stays there. But the reason that I don't think that it is because
they have guns.
is because if you look at virtually everything else, like look at literature and like the storylines and everything, it is just different enough that they can get away with it.
There's not really, we haven't played it very long yet. We started playing it last week, but they don't have like much of a story, is there? Other than like just go out and catch the Pokemons. Pals.
Go out and catch the pals.
The pals.
It is.
Pokemon had like a pretty involved story with Ash and all them.
It's a unique combination of mechanics
Yeah.
because you get.
But was the story in the original Pokemon game?
I don't
More
know. I
than-
never played. Well, I've had the Game Boy game.
I think they
It didn't
fleshed
really
it
have
out.
much of a story, but like I watched the show and read the books and stuff.
Give them time.
Huh.
Now, unfortunately, they block all the tweets here if you don't agree to the cookies. But one of the things they pointed out was this mouth.
Okay.
But that's, I mean,
Looks
I've
like
seen,
My Neighbor Totoro's mouth too.
yeah, I've seen other mouths like that.
Looks like
Those-
generic
Mr.
anime
Stain
mouth.
on Junk Alley.
You can check the tweets in here. Some people have really gone down to like, pulling out little like one fin from
Yeah.
one creature on another one or whatever. So I don't know. But one thing is for sure, if there is any kind of infringement, they will find it and they will come.
Pokemon company says it intends to investigate Palworld. So I think if Nintendo thought that they could get away with it, they would. But Nintendo is not as sociopathic as, let's say, Apple, which is impressive because Nintendo is quite sociopathic.
But this is not Nintendo. This is
Probably a subsidiary.
no. There's two. Like it's published through Nintendo, but the developer is called something else, right?
There are, since Pokemon was not owned by, like in the beginning of Pokemon before Nintendo, there were other companies popping up producing things like it. I don't know. Engagement Challenge.
Digimon was a big
Yeah,
one.
there you go.
I remember thinking Digimon was like half-rate Pokemon as a kid.
There were GoBots. Remember GoBots?
GoBots came first.
Yeah. Well, See, Palworld. Pokemon came first. Palworld. Palworld figured out the model. Nintendo's best move here, the least scummy move, is to just take the Palworld idea and do it better with their IP, and that'll probably sell better, and people will like it. But the Hollywood trend, like with the whole piracy and the thing, the reason that there's a problem is because these executives can't resist putting poop in the soup. It's like, we got this lovely, amazing, delicious tomato soup. It's amazing. The recipe's easy. You'll pay for it. I'll gladly pay for it. It's amazing. We've added some poop to it. Can I get it without the poop? No.
Well,
Only if you pay our subscription fee.
speaking of
But
that,
we'll eventually add the poop back in.
Yeah.
speaking of adding poop, let me give you a warning here, consumer warning. If you want to play Palworld, it might seem like a really good deal to pay the $12 and get Xbox Game Pass. Don't do that. Because the Xbox Game Pass version won't update. Now, and these guys have come out, I meant to add the article, but they've said, hey, listen, we've submitted the patches to Microsoft. They go through a lengthy certification process, and we don't control that. So don't do that.
Our game is made out of baling wire and duct tape. That seems to be antithetical.
Baldur's Gate, I think, had a similar issue where they were trying to patch something and they said it took forever. It was something on like Microsoft's end that was taking them a long time.
Fabulous.
So maybe be careful of these game streaming services like this one.
Netflix says that game engagement tripled in 2023. So we've moved from 3 to 9 people that have ever played a game.
Yeah.
They did add the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, which may have fueled all of that. I thought that was only on mobile, though. I don't
Yeah,
know the rules of
probably.
it. Are you playing GTA 3 on mobile?
That wouldn't be very fun, I wouldn't think, but
And Netflix, they're going to give
delicious
you,
poop.
they'll give you a couple of games maybe, but they're going to take something away. And the thing they're taking away is the thing that literally the entire subscription base wants.
Netflix is going to take away its cheapest ad-free plan. We just can't help but put poop in the soup.
So you either pay for the more expensive plans or you will watch the ads. And they make more money if you watch the ads, which is why they're doing
I
this.
still haven't watched the last season of The Crown.
Or as
because
Cory
of this
Doctorow
crap.
says, in shitification.
And moving on to a little bit of, oh no, we're still in the software section. Never mind.
Google Chrome gains AI features, including writing helper, theme creator, and tab organizer.
I'm curious about the tab organizer.
I
Oh, it's hot garbage.
Yeah, I was going to say I was interested in that, but I feel like my browsing habits are so chaotic. I'd be like, I have no idea why you have one tab open about gardening, another one about programming questions, another one about some other thing that's completely unrelated. Like,
Yeah.
Chrome should expand to be like application organizer. It's like, I'm in do this thing mode, and it's like, here's all my windows, here's all my tabs, here's all my other applications, group it together. And it's like, okay, I want to close this thread, I want to open a new thread, which is all of these applications organized this way. And that would be the way to do it. But no one is clued into this.
that's
Hey.
kind of how I do my bookmarks, where like I have a folder that's like stuff for work, stuff for this, stuff for that.
Hey, Chrome AI. If I try to open a YouTube link in your browser, warn me not to do that because you screw with the ad blockers. Warn me to open that in Brave instead. Can you do that for me? Can you give me that reminder?
Before this last round of plugin changes, there was a plugin for Chrome, because I used it too, that would open links on certain top-level domain names in different browsers. That no longer works.
Yeah, it's not going to be from the Google AI, though. One thing you can get if you're on Google's platform, though, is money. However, it comes with a few catches.
Predatory loan apps are thriving in the Google Play Store despite ban. Yeah, it's because no one cares. Again, line go up. No one is paying attention. No one uses their own product. It is garbage.
Now, this was in a different country. Mexico, maybe?
Yeah.
A lot of these things, they get away with, like the lower rules there. So they pointed out this one, you could borrow the money, but if you didn't pay it back, they would message your entire contact list. How do they have that? Because you agreed to it when you enabled the app. And they would be like, hey, so-and-so is a whore. She doesn't pay her bills. And your entire contact list would get the messages.
You know who could shut that down? Google, because Google could say, we're going to turn your app off for everybody everywhere on all devices unless you stop doing that.
I imagine getting that text and being like, well, one of those things, they don't really...
I mean, you might have to do one in order to do the other. Why would you complain about that? And
PSA jellyfin is also a thing.
if you're getting driven away from Netflix because now they insist that you watch ads and they screw you at every turn, maybe this is an alternative, but I don't have high hopes for this either.
Plex is about to launch a store for movies and TV shows. They're trying to go legit. And now you should start running a parallel instance on your media library from Jellyfin. Just letting you know.
There was a great Donkey video like a week or two ago where he was just describing trying to find one television show. And it was like a 5-minute video, and it was just him talking about like, well, first you go here, and then you realize they don't have this season. So then you go over to this streaming service, and then this one, and then you pay for a month here. And then you get this episode, and then you have to go back to another one, and then you can finish the season.
They should make an AI that automates all that.
There's apparently a site like that for like old seasons of Pokemon. It's like all the seasons of Pokemon in order, but what streaming platforms you have to go to watch them.
How long till we get Nintendo Plus? They got the Mario movie. They got the Pokemon stuff.
Another streaming service.
They got those old Zelda cartoons. Those are hard to find. And when it comes to software going wrong, one place that you really don't want that to happen is in the banking industry.
Bank fined for giving home borrowers the wrong information. They told them that they were okay on payments when they were not okay on payments, and then they fined them. They told them that their interest rate was fine when their interest rate was about to change for the worse, and borrowers didn't have a chance to shop around or try to do refinancing or anything like that. So they got the court system fined them $820,000 for doing this, but I don't see anything in that fine that really benefits the users that were affected. The ones that got the fees refunded, but that's still a pretty hard screw on your home loan.
Yeah, good luck cleaning up your credit after that.
Yeah, just like, well, but your terms of loan said this. I relied on that. And it was consistently wrong. It wasn't like your paperwork was one set at the beginning of the loan and then they accidentally sent you the wrong correspondence. No, they sent you the wrong correspondence repeatedly.
And you could go and look it up, and it would just be wrong when you looked it up. So no matter how proactive you were, it didn't matter. Moving on to social media, we have another EU directive. Not quite the bombshell that the Apple one was, but it's going to upset everybody at Meta for sure.
Meta now lets EU users unlink their Facebook Messenger and Instagram accounts. So you can just have separate accounts. Magic.
They will still track.
Yeah.
They will still join you. Don't believe it. And they are definitely feeling the heat on this whole teenagers unaliving themselves and being depressed and having horrible quality of lives. So they're going to take the smallest step that they can.
Facebook and Instagram will block DMs to teens unless they're from a friend.
It's not like a lot of teens use Facebook, so I mean that's not a great loss for them. But Instagram.
They're all on Snap now, right? Let me get your Snap.
Well, this was, I can think of a lot of instances where this doesn't matter. Like in the beginning, Facebook Messenger was this way. It was like, hey, friend me on Facebook, and then you do that, and then you would get back, you suck. And it's like, oh.
Well, you know who probably doesn't hear that very much? Taylor Swift, because everybody loves her. But perhaps some people love her in an unhealthy way.
Trolls have flooded X with graphic Taylor Swift AI fakes. Oh,
This was trending, I think yesterday or the day before. I came across a few of them. They were disturbing.
And Elon Musk is doing everything he can to make X his vision of an like utopian all-in-one app. He's going for the payment systems, and apparently he's trying to bring in the worst creators to try and drive business.
Store.level1 text.
X appears to be juicing Mr. Beast's views as Elon Musk tries to woo the YouTuber to the platform. Basically, he was running his video about a car as an ad, but it wasn't labeled as an ad. Yeah, this was showing up weird times in the timeline and trying to get tons of views and exposure and get people to watch the video, but yeah, not interested in this ad. But it's not labeled an ad.
So someone had not updated their X app for like 1 million years, and they ran this, and it wasn't able to hide it as an ad in that scenario. Block Mr. Beast. He said Mr. Beast claimed he was just trying to figure out how much he could get paid on X, and apparently they wanted that number to be large. They want to bring him over. And Elon Musk, once again, making terrible PR decisions. Why would you just not say anything here?
Elon Musk said that he's quote-unquote Jewish by association.
I don't think that's how that works.
He visited Auschwitz, and it's just like, ooh.
As
and
a PR stunt,
and
to be clear.
And he sees almost no anti-Semitism. And it's like, that's the trifecta of bad things.
But he said at dinner, and I'm sure the people he's eating dinner with would never say anything controversial. They're just trying to get free dinner from Elon Musk. They're like, oh my God, I've never had puffer fish before. I just want to be a part of this. On X, yeah, there's some of this for sure. But I mean, there's hate for everybody on X. And are the teens really being damaged by social media? Can we measure it? I don't know. But West Virginia University says yes.
Oh, local interest.
And they claim that they have the proof.
WVU research reveals possible link between teen personalities, social media preferences, and depressive symptoms. It's easy to see the one depressive symptom that would come out of that is that you look at something and it's like, this is a life that is attainable, and that is not remotely the case.
You're comparing yourself too much to other people.
This specifically, they had a case where a girl unalived, and they were looking at what might have led to that. And it seems like there was a lot of social media stuff coming her way that was negative. Does that mean that none of us can have it? I don't know. And some people, when they come up with an idea of how to start their new social media, you got to come up with a gimmick, right? YouTube is suggesting a guy to me. All he does is review canned fish.
It's from this story.
There's an incredible website that a friend of mine found recently that is literally just pictures of condiment packets, and it's like an archive, and that's all it is.
Wow. Somebody's paying hosting for that.
Yeah.
I watched one canned fish review, and I was like, yeah, I don't care about this. But
you watched it.
This one's a little bit more exciting, I guess.
Utah teen facing charges after allegedly taping fish to ATMs. But because Fox Headline used the headline, "Something's fishy," I don't think that he should be facing criminal charges. Maybe some community service.
Well, it depends on the fish. It's kind of cruel to the fish to...
Well, he claims that no fish were harmed. He was buying these fish.
That doesn't make it better if you're killing them. Where'd you get them from? The dead fish store?
He's guilty of being maladjusted, and he probably needs to do some community service.
Oh, Fish Bandit 84 is his name. And the tagline was, "Live, laugh, tape fish to ATM machines." He did branch out a little bit and taped one fish to a police car, and that seems to be where they drew the line.
The tipping point. Yeah, you start out taping fish to ATMs, but pretty soon you're taping fish to police cars before you know
it's too
it.
far.
And we all know the horror of the hipster coffee house, where people just move in and take up space, and you can't move around because it's filled with MacBooks. Why? How did we get here?
The tyranny of the algorithm. Why every coffee shop looks the same. And it's because this person relays is like, I would go to Yelp and I would type hipster coffee shop to try to find what I was looking for, even though I didn't really want a hipster coffee shop. And then the local coffee shops all became something that looked like a hipster coffee shop because that was apparently what everybody was searching for.
I included this because recently I was visiting a friend and we were looking just to get coffee like downtown where we were. And it was weird how similar every coffee shop looked. Like in terms of decor, how the menus were, all of them were the same.
Would you go to a coffee shop if it was like sawdust on the floor and?
Well, no. So like the one we ended up stopping at, it was more like almost like decorated like a country kitchen. Like it had like the hutch and then, old floral curtains and stuff. Like it was kind of its own thing. It looked different than all the others.
What if we did a theme coffee shop where the theme was somebody got stabbed here last night?
A murder mystery coffee shop.
No, just that vibe.
Just uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like a
like,
pocket dimension.
I don't trust any of these people, but the coffee's cheap.
You're describing the Waffle House experience,
That's
and I love Waffle
you're
House.
Right. And you can already get coffee at Waffle House. So
Yeah.
It's not a good business idea. And TikTok is an addictive product, it seems, among the youth. It seems to be very bad for them, but they won't stop using it. How far should you go to prevent this kind of behavior?
Middle school has removed bathroom mirrors to stop kids from making TikToks.
Our school removed them because people were slamming their heads into them. We are not the same.
Remove the phones, not the mirrors.
Really?
Do you not? Or also, like, we had to have the doors open because people were smoking in the bathroom all the time?
We had that, yeah.
Yeah.
But see, we lived through a time, which just seems like madness now, where there was a smoking section in our high school.
There was
And
for ours for a long time, too. I think they got rid of it right before I got in there.
During our tenure, they got rid of it. So you had a ton of addicted students who one day could go outside and smoke and the next day couldn't.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen?
Was it like so at the high school I went to, it was like a little covered area so you could be out there and you wouldn't get rained on if it was raining?
I don't remember if it was covered. There were some picnic tables, but you were basically out there exposed to the elements.
Yeah.
But it was popular. There was also a lot of people who just went to hang out there but didn't smoke. But of course they were getting all the secondhand smoke.
I mean, if you're out, it's better than doing it inside. I mean, sometimes you'd go to like pee or something between classes, and it's like, God, it's just hotboxed in the girls' bathroom.
Yeah, or like guys would stand at the urinal and hold the cigarette in the urinal to try to pretend like they were peeing, and it's like, I just need to pee.
And all I could smell is smoke.
That's the end of that one.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll see you guys on Friday with nonsense. That kind of ended on a nonsense note.
There's a lot of nonsense coming your way. Don't worry.
All right.
A little bit of collapse.
Bye.